Allegiance and invocation by Councilwoman Coonrod. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You got to hit your button before I can turn it on. You didn't hit your button.
You want to, Alexia, you going? Okay, come on. Well, I was pointing at Sylvester. Mr. Sylvester, if you'll come open us up in prayer.
Please.
All right, let us pray. Oh Lord, Heavenly Father, let everybody on this council and everybody in the meeting come to meetings of the minds for the good of Chattanooga. Lord, look over Chattanooga. Look over all Chattanooga. And let's make Chattanooga so wonderful that everybody that come to this town will really appreciate coming to Chattanooga. Let the people in Chattanooga be smiling and enjoying the prosperous things that we can have. And Lord, look over everybody and bless everybody and all the sick and everybody that's got illnesses and all the sick and shut in. Pray for them, look out for them. In your name we pray, amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Councilwoman. Have a motion on the minutes? All right, got a motion in a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed is nay. Thank you. We have one special presentation this evening. It's a proclamation for National Vietnam War Veterans Day. Councilman Henderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We were privileged here this afternoon to have a group of veterans who are representing the Vietnam Veterans Chapter 203, of which I'm a proud associate, lifetime member of. Gentlemen, on behalf of the city and on behalf of the City Council, I want to thank you for your service, and for you Vietnam veterans, I want to tell you, welcome home. If you would stand, please, and turn around and just be recognized while I read this proclamation, if you would. And I'm going to read all of it because I think of the importance that this carries. I feel like that you're due that respect. This is from the city of Chattanooga, a proclamation. Whereas in 2019, we continue to commemorate that more than 50 years ago, our nation ended military involvement in the Republic of South Vietnam, thus concluding what was at that time the longest war in our country's history. And it is important to honor the men and women who survived and the over 58,000 men and women who gave their lives during the course of this war. And whereas there were more than 10,000 people from the Tennessee Valley region that served in the Vietnam War, among them 156 made the ultimate sacrifice for their nation. And as Chattanoogans, we must never forget the pain and suffering that lingers today for the men and women who fought with honor and distinction in the name of freedom and democracy for all. And whereas since their return, these veterans have contributed tremendously to our community, and whereas today we again have the opportunity to honor, give thanks, and pay tribute to these men and women who saw our country through one of the most challenging missions we have ever faced, and who answered the call of duty with courage and valor. And with this ceremony, let us strive to continue to show our Vietnam veterans and their families the fullest respect and support of a grateful Chattanooga community. Now, therefore, Andy Burke, Mayor of City of Chattanooga, do hereby proclaim March 27th, 2019 as the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam War. Gentlemen, thanks so much for your service.
VVA Chapter 203 thanks the city for this presentation. We'd like to make an announcement that Friday, the 29th, at Hampton Place Mall, it'll be in front of the city, in the center of the mall there, we will have the Tennessee Wall, all KIA, MIA, that will be listed on that wall from Tennessee. So if you can, come out and check the wall out for any names or anyone you know that may be on it. But we'll be glad to have you out. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good job, Councilman. All right. Madam Clerk, we have no ordinances on final read, which takes us to ordinances on first read. 6A, please.
An ordinance amending Chattanooga City Code, Chapter 2, Article 2, Division 2, Section 249, relating to legal liability claims.
What's the pleasure of the council?
So moved.
Thank you. I've got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed is nay. Thank you. Move on to B, please.
An ordinance amending Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 4, Article 2, Rules, Regulations, Criteria, Standards, Section 441, Rules adopted, and Chapter 20, Article 2, Health Nuisances, by adding Sections 2029 through 2032 relating to noxious odors and nuisances.
Councilman Oglesby?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Thank you for the leadership you have provided on this. We have been discussing this quite extensively, and actually, you know, from all the work we've been done and all the research, by no stretch of the imagination, I'll say we do not condone anything that inhibits the quality of life of Chattanooga. Everybody deserves a neighborhood where they can live in, grow in, and enjoy themselves. And this ordinance is a good step in that direction. With that being said, I would like to ask for a deferral to April tonight so we can do a little bit more work on it, because with the great work you've done and how important it is to the quality of life of our city, we need to make sure that it has enough meat on the bone, so to speak, that it'll be sustainable, lasting, and that you know, we can enjoy ourselves in our city. So with that being said, I ask for a deferral until April the 9th.
All right. Thank you, sir. I see no further lights. I've got a motion and a second for deferral until April 9th. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed is nay? Nay. No. Let's move on to resolutions, Madam Clerk. 7A, please.
A resolution authorizing the waiver of use and damage fees at the Creamery at Ross's Landing sidewalk in front of Cold Stone for the Southeast Tennessee Veterans Coalition to be used for the free dental care for veterans event to be held on Tuesday, April 2, 2019 at 7 o'clock a.m. in the amount of $1,000.
Councilman Oglesby?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. As Madam Clerk just said, on Tuesday, April the 2nd at Ross's Landing, the veterans will be providing free dental care to veterans. And if you know of any veterans that could use this service, I encourage you to get the word out and have them there. And that's on April the 2nd, starting at 7 o'clock. And I want to thank Mickey McCamish, who is leading this charge, and for all the great work you do for the veterans in our city. So I move to approve.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Gilbert, do you have a comment or just a second, sir? All right. Thank you. I've got a motion and a second for approval. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed is nay. Thank you, Councilman Oglesby. Madam Clerk, let's move on to B, please.
A resolution authorizing the administrator for the Department of Economic and Community Development to accept a grant sponsored by the Footprint Foundation to support the mentorship component of the Public Art Division's City Artist Program in the amount of $30,000.
Councilwoman Coonrod? Thank Thank you. I've got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Opposed is nay. Thank you. Seat, please.
A resolution authorizing the administrator for the Department of Economic and Community Development to accept all donations of funds raised by the Community Foundation of Greater Chattanooga for the Fallen Five Memorial Fund to the City of Chattanooga for use in constructing the Fallen Five Memorial Wreath of Honor by Shane Albritton and Norman Lee in the Tennessee River Park.
Councilman Gilbert. Sorry.
Move to approve.
Thank you. Got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Opposed is nay. D, please.
A resolution to confirm the mayor's appointments of 7 members to the Chattanooga Public Art Commission.
Councilwoman Coonrod, followed by Councilwoman Burrs.
Thank you, Chair. I see a few people that's been appointed to that board. If you all could stand up so we can see who you are. And I think, thank you, Katie, for just making sure that you're pushing for diversity on our Art Commission board. I really appreciate your efforts. And with this crew here, it shows clearly that we've got a diverse group of people. Thank you so much for willing to serve.
Thank you. Councilwoman Burrs, I had your light, ma'am. Okay. Thank you. Councilman Burrs just a little excited on the seconds over there. Sorry. All right. Thank you all. I've got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed is nay. All right. Thank you. E, please.
A resolution authorizing the redemption of certain City of Chattanooga, Tennessee general obligation bonds.
What's the pleasure of the council? Thank you. I've got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed is nay. Thank you, council. Madam Clerk, let's go on to purchases, please. Or not Madam Clerk, I guess, in this case. Ms. Woodard.
Good evening.
Good evening.
To begin with, we have a purchase on behalf of our Information Technology Department. It's a new blanket contract for with the Electric Power Board of Chattanooga for for fiber optics and support, and that is contrasted with what the list reads, which is fire optics. It should be fiber optics. The estimated annual spend for this item is $1.25 million. Next, on behalf of the Chattanooga Police Department, we have first blanket contract renewals for police uniforms to be awarded to Summit Uniform Solutions, Inc. in a total estimated annual amount of $50,000. Next, a new blanket contract for ballistic body armor to be awarded to GT Distributors of Georgia, Inc. in an estimated annual amount of $125,000. Next, on behalf of Public Works, our remaining purchases are first, a blanket contract renewal for janitorial and cleaning supplies to be awarded to first, American Paper and Twine Company, and second, Jacobs Wholesale Paper Company, in a total estimated annual amount of $180,000. Next, a blanket contract renewal for building automation systems installation and service to be awarded to Electronic Controls, Inc. in an estimated annual amount of $275,000. Next, a blanket contract renewal for asphaltic concrete to be awarded to Southeastern Materials Company, Inc. in an estimated annual amount of $510,000. Next, a new blanket contract for Flotwig centrifuge repair parts to be awarded to Flotwig Separation Technology, Inc. in an estimated annual amount of $1.3 million. And finally, an increase to the authorized expenditure for bucket trucks, being a blanket contract, which is awarded to Lee Smith, Inc. in a revised estimated annual amount of $533,000.
All right. Thank you. What's the pleasure of the council? Thank you, sir. I've got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Opposed is nay. All right, that takes us to other business. Is there anybody on the council as other business they'd wish to discuss at this time? Councilman Byrd?
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to make an announcement about this Saturday at Carver YFD Center. We're having I think like a 7th annual Coffee with the Councilman. It starts from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m., where we will be talking about home ownership. where we're at right now and where we're going. We're going to have people there to help out with credit repair. We're going to have people there to help out with home repair and try to get you on the right track to getting to affordable home ownership. So that's going to be this Saturday at Carver Rec Center from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Councilwoman Coonrod.
Thank you, Chair. So a couple of things, and District 9 also will be having a home ownership workshop, and it's going to be on April the 13th from 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock at 2300 North Chamberlain. It's called the Village Church now. Formerly, it was known by Mount Canaan there, so please let your family and friends know about that. And then also a job fair is taking place on Thursday, March the 28th from 10 to 2 p.m. at the Brainerd BX, located at 4011 Austin Street. Please help get this information out to the community that you reside in and make a phone call. Any family members or friends, nieces, nephews, you know, that need a job, looking for employment opportunities, please direct them to this location. And then finally, we have Southeast Tennessee Works. They've partnered with Chattanooga State, and they're paying $12.50 per hour, 40 hours per week for 12 weeks to get people trained to get into the workforce of manufacturing. And you can also apply online at chattanoogastate.edu/set-work. Please get that information out. We need people to get back into the pipeline of working, and this will be a great opportunity. Training, 12 weeks, and it's paid $12.50. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Seeing no further lights, we'll move on to committee reports. Councilwoman Burrs? No report. Councilman Burt? No report. Councilwoman Coonrod? No report. Councilman Gilbert? No report. Councilman Henderson? Councilman Mitchell?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Next Tuesday, we will have a Public Works and Transportation Committee meeting right after agenda session. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Councilman Oglesby?
No report.
Thank you. And on Councilman Ledford's part, I do believe we will also have a planning and zoning next week following the agenda session. All right, with that, we have come to the point of recognition of persons wishing to address the council on non-agenda matters. Is there anybody here that wishes to address the council? Yes, sir. Mr. Attorney?
Yes, sir. At the end of each business meeting, the chair will recognize members of the public that want to address the council. These are your rules. Go up to the microphone that's provided for that purpose. Everybody can have no more than 3 minutes to speak. You can address the council upon matters within their authority legislatively and quasi-judicially. Can't use any vulgar or obscene language, nor use the floor to personally attack or personally denigrate others. Address your comments to the council as a whole when you're doing that, and can't speak more than twice in any 30-day time period. Please go ahead, sir.
Okay. Name's Sylvester Harris, 3300 Curtis Street. My problem is we got a lot of problems with homelessness and mental illness in East Chattanooga. I don't know how we can address this problem. It's getting a little bit bad between two streets, Midland and I forgot the name of the other street, but they next to each other. And it's a filling station up there where people just hang out at. And we got to try to clean this up. It's not a good site for kids and just people passing, just thinking that's the norm for East Chattanooga, because it's not. It's a lot of hard-working people that work, that's doing the right thing. But when people come by and see these two streets and they see the people hanging out, and it's getting to be a mess. And so I'm asking the council to try to pass some ordinance to, you know, for loitering. We're gonna have to stop. If people are not taking care of certain business at that establishment, it's gonna have to be posted that they have to not stand around and vacate that area all day. We got a lot of trash, and we know who the folks are, and I know they need help. And my problem is that I don't know how to get them help. And we got to find a way to clean that area up. And I'm just wondering if we can get some help with this, with the whole council. But the problem is, like I said, we got to clean those areas up, because I don't like my kids growing up in that area thinking that's a norm for anybody. I don't want them seeing that kind of stuff. I don't want them thinking, because it done got to the point where it's just the norm, and I don't want it to be the norm. But in the same sense, I want to help these people get some help that they need to get some help. I don't know how to help them. And I know asking y'all to help them is like, you know, I don't know what to do. And maybe we can get together and try to figure this problem out. But we got to figure this problem out, and soon. I don't know who to go to, but it's an eyesore even to me when I'm passing through there and I'm thinking, no, this is, sometimes you have to step up even though it may hurt some people. But I want to get these people some help, and they need some help because like alcoholism with drugs and mental illness on those two streets is kind of bad. So if y'all can get, you know, step up and try to figure out something for this situation or pass some laws that we can stop the people from just standing around doing nothing when, you know, we got to do something about it. Thank you so much for your time. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you, Ms. Harris. Hold on just one moment. I got a couple lights, maybe questions for you. Councilwoman Coonrod.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Sylvester, hey, I empathize and sympathize with you on that. But if you want to get together and organize a community cleanup, hey, I'll put my boots on, gloves, and we can get out there and get it cleaned up.
I believe that too.
And so just let me know when you're ready.
Is that part of your district?
It ain't got to be. I'm willing to help you.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. That's what I'm saying. I want a joint venture in this act. And if we all get together, because we got to be like a family. You know, we got to do all this together. It ain't just it's us in this battle to try to straighten up places that need to be straightened up. And we can do it, because this is America. And if we can't do it in this country, we got a lot of problems. You know, this is America. Like Trump always saying, let's make America great again. Well, come on, let's make East Chattanooga great again. And thank y'all for your time and your patience.
Hold on just one moment. I still got a couple lights for you. Councilman Byrd.
Thank you, and Sylvester, once again, thanks for all the work and awareness that you bring to the community. You took a walk through your streets and down your block a couple of weeks ago, and we pointed out a lot of things. Something that people don't understand is that when it comes to private property, a lot of times, if we as a community don't report people that messes up in our community, those communities continue to look bad because people who live amongst us, a lot of times either A, can't afford to get things cleaned up, or one thing that I'm noticing is that we won't call 311 or we won't call code enforcement to let people know that these people are doing these things in our community. So I just encourage everyone, when you see a house or a place that has a lot of trash and things around it, please call 311 or please reach out to your city council people so that we can get some help or get someone over there. It's not about being a snitch. It's not about telling on your neighbor. It's about your community and your property values that you need to look after. Secondly, Sylvester, when it comes to these guys hanging out on private property, whether it's the Little Caesars, the Fast Stop, anything around there, those guys that own those properties, they're really on point about trying to get people removed, and a lot of times they keep coming back. But like you said, you know, it's about us. So while I talked to you about when we took that walk, we as a community have to report it. It's kind of impossible for this council to tell a private business, hey, these people are on your property, you need to move them, and they don't want to move them. But I think if we come together as a community and say, hey, this whole community want these people moved off your property and not hanging out, because I'm scared to come to your business and I can't support it because of all these people that are sitting at your property, I think that business will act appropriately when it comes to that. And next, I think in 3 weeks, I think that's when they will have a dumpster available for the community to pick up and clean up. And I schedule that if you would like to be a part of it too. And we can work on that in 3 weeks and just put out flyers and talk to people about working together and cleaning up their community. I mean, you can go knock on every door in the community to make that happen.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Sylvester.
Councilman Henderson.
You got one more. When you started making America great again, I had to get in on that conversation. Mr. Harris, I think you're aware of this as well, but you know, this summer we've got a group, and right now we've got 320 volunteers signed up that are coming in the week of June the 16th through the 21st. And I think it's probably somewhere a total of about 64 homes, I believe, that we're going to do some home repairs on, and we're concentrating in the East Chattanooga area there, Councilman Byrd. I'm not fishing in your backyard. I'm just, okay, I'm fishing there, thank you. But we're really excited. We're in the process right now of doing site writing and getting all of our material lists together, and we'll be coming and seeing you this summer.
And I appreciate it. And I want to thank you, too, for the vouchers that you supplied me to give out to people that needed help. I want to thank you so much. Even though it's not in your district, you stepped forward to help when I was asking for some help, and you saw where you could do a little help to help us out, and I really appreciate that, because it's not in this district, but like I said, we all in this as a family. Yeah. And so he stepped forward, and thank you so much. And thank you too.
By the way, now, and I've got to say, we're partnering with ECD. Is Ms. Williams over there? Okay, Richard. A lot of the money's coming from our home funds program, and so we are partnering with the city as well. But
Thank you, Mr. Harris.
And thank you for your time.
And Mr. Bell?
It's a great evening. Monty Bell, the homeless journalist, the gray-haired fox. I'm already suing you for $24 billion for your neglect. And when you helped Mr. Sylvester, before you helped me, and I've been here for 26 years, I'm going to sue you for another $24 billion. I have before me, as I described on Mr. Tulitt's radio program, a bill of attainder, where you denied me an opportunity to even come here to address the problems in my neighborhood and communities many years ago. I have where you told me that I could never come back to address the city council ever again because I wanted to uplift fallen humanity in my neighborhoods and community. When I came back in 1992 with my own money, I was arrested by your city police, your Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agencies, your Hamilton County Sheriff's Departments, because I wanted to uplift fallen humanity in my neighborhood communities. And you sit here as if you've done something fantastic tonight, telling someone that's now probably a part of your crew, I'm not speaking for him, I'm speaking for myself. I want you to tell me before I leave here tonight, because I asked you the last time, let's talk about my money so I can send $19 million to my school, Brainerd High School, to uplift fallen humanity there. And then we're going to see why the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga did not want Monty Bell, the voice of the city, the voice of the county, the voice of the state, to teach, because there was someone with a library whose name still stands on Lookout Mountain saying, oh, well, Monty, maybe you need to go to school first, maybe you. And then after that, maybe we can all have a Coke and a smile. I want to know before I leave here if you're going to tell me when the punitive and compensatory damages to my lawsuit that has been denied due process of law is going to take place. April 1st is coming up. Now, with the 50 seconds that I got, Mr. Attorney, do you have any idea what the bills of attainder are? Do you understand that you have denied me of due process of law since you started here as an intern with the city attorney's office? I want my money. I want it now, and I want it from the city, the county, and the state. And this is not a request. This is a demand. Now, you helped him before you helped me. And, baby, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Bell.
I'll call you tomorrow.
Is there anybody else who would like to address the council this evening? Yes, sir. Come on up.
Hi, my name is Darion Wood. I recently got a parking ticket, and on the back it says that this is enforced by the Chattanooga City Code. $11, that's a little excessive, but that's cool. But my issue is that if I don't pay this within 10 days, it goes up to $41.50. That's an extra $30 if I don't pay this in 10 days. Now, I don't know how y'all get paid, but most people I know get paid every 2 weeks. That's every 14 days. I just had a baby. I was just at the hospital. For 5 days, I was in the hospital because my wife had a C-section. 5 days after that, we were dealing with a sick child. So if I'd have got this ticket a little while ago, if I'd have got this ticket right before I went to the hospital, which I didn't know I was going to the hospital, this would have already been up to a $30 ticket just because something in my life happened. And a lot of people are like that. There are a lot of poor people, not poor people, working class people in Chattanooga who something in their lives happened and they don't have money in 10 days. You might think $11, that's not a lot of money, but to some people it is. If it wasn't, we wouldn't have all these payday check advances places on Brandon Road and East Ridge who make a lot of money fronting people money to get from one day to the next. And so my issue is this seems like extortion. $30 if you don't pay me within 10 days. And then on the back it says, failure to pay any fine or penalty within 10 days results in additional fines and up to $50 plus court costs, tax and collection costs, and it also results in the immobilization of your vehicle. So if I don't pay this in 10 days, you're gonna immobilize my vehicle? And I don't know about anybody else, but like the old song say, I need my truck for to go to work. So this seems excessive, 10 days. Most businesses, you got 30 days to pay somebody. And I would like this council to look into that, giving people 30 days. And also going down from $30 to maybe a $5 or $10 fine, but $30 fine because I don't pay you in 10 days, that's extortion.
Thank you, Mr. Wood. Is there anybody else who would like to address the council this evening? Oh, I'm sorry. Councilwoman Coonrod, please.
Thank you, Chair. So City Attorney, he made some valid points. Is there anything that we can do or changes that we can make to alleviate that?
You're talking about the $24 billion here?
No, the comment that was just made on the parking.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, that too, yeah, we need to go ahead and pay that man his money. I mean, he been talking about that for 2 years since I've been on the council. But no, this young man here that addressed about the parking ticket.
Yes, ma'am. The requirements that we have, at least as to our parking amounts, are in the city code right now. There are provisions, I guess, for collection purposes in that regard to try to make sure that people pay them promptly. That's the reason it's a 10-day amount. We can look at a longer time period if the council wishes to do so. The concern at this point in time is you have turned all your parking matters on collections over to the folks with Chattanooga Area Transportation Agency here, and they have at least requested those amounts. We can talk to them and see if there's some different amount.
Sir, if you don't mind, once we adjourn so I can get your name and information, so once we find out what we can and cannot do, so I can follow back up with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. All right, now seeing no further lights, is there anybody else? Oh, wait, I think we had somebody pop up, sorry.
Councilman, Councilwomen. I'm basically homeless on the east side.
Can you give us your name, sir?
Huh?
Can you give us your name?
Kenneth Adams.
Thank you.
Basically, the good Lord put an animal in my life that's kept me going for a long time. And she had a bunch of puppies, and I was about to get up off the streets, and all my brother found me a job, worked 12.50 an hour doing lawn service. And I had a home I was going to be able to get into and all, a big fenced-in yard. McKinney been coming out there with the homeless health care and all and trying to work with us and probably a little bit of dog food and lead lines and everything else. Never once did they give me forewarning that I had to get rid of any of my animals. I didn't know nothing of the leash laws. My puppies was little, and I let them run around in the field, but they will not go off the field. They do not harm nobody. They're not wild animals. I got videos to prove that and everything else, and my friend told me to come down here and talk to you all first. But they came down there, did not give me no verbal warning, no written warning, no citations, telling me I had to get rid of some of my animals. They just kept asking me if I wanted to get rid of some. Then just a couple of days ago, they came down and seized all my animals they could get. And my animals was, yeah, my mama was probably chained around her neck. She had a belt around it, so give her comfort. And another one, because he was a little bit on the aggressive side. But the rest of my dogs are Darcidal, and they labeled them as being feral dogs and wild animals. My animals not wild. They listen to me. They mind very well. Yes, they are pit bull Razorback Terriers, but they all lovable animals. And I was just wanting to see if there's any way on Friday they're going to take my animals by their law and do whatever they want with them. And I want my animals back. I tried to work with the people and everything else. They told me at first that I'll be able to get the mother and one pup back, but they had to be fixed. Then they took it, and I had to sign over the other ones to them. Then by the end of the week, when they realized my other three came back, they escaped from them, and they took it and I've had him on leash and collar properly now. They can't touch him by law and everything else. They want me to relinquish all my animals, so they fix all my animals and charge me almost $1,700 to get them back. and I do not have that kind of money. But my dog's been my whole life. She's helped me get off drugs and alcohol because I had to take care of my babies. Yes, it cost me about $2,000 feeding my animals and taking care of them. At one time, I was thinking about getting what they call that, kennel license, and I was going to breed my boys. I was going to have all my females fixed. But I got too close to them because she did have 11 puppies. I got 4 of them away for no fees, no charges to nobody, and I've been trying to, out of goodness of my heart and everything. If my mama dog said they's all right, they got a dog. But I got too close because by the time they got old enough, got too attached to them, I couldn't get rid of them. But if they told me I had to get rid of some of my animals or they would seize my animals, I would have got rid of some of them to my friends. But now basically I can't get none of my mama dog or nothing. If she was a rescue dog, she was on a chain for 10 months, was not fed properly or anything else, not walked but twice a week. And I took care of her and I got her from being an aggressive dog to a passive dog.
All right. Mr. Adams, just a moment. Hey, Chief, do we have anybody that can work with him that is more familiar with McCamey that can possibly just, Amy, I don't know if maybe you might be able to help him out in understanding exactly what took place. Maybe there's some miscommunication, some way that we might be able to get him some help. Would you mind? Okay, sir, if you would speak to Amy afterwards, and if there's anything we can possibly do to help you out, we'd be more than happy to.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. We are adjourned. Oh, excuse me, just a moment. I see a light from always the last second light. Councilwoman?
No, I really just wanted to shout out the labor union that's here out in our audience for showing up today. One thing that I love to see is when community members come out and show support and solidarity for whatever issue is on our agenda, and I appreciate that. Like, that means more to me than anything, than a phone call, than an email, although those things matter as well. But when I physically can see the person in the audience, that moves me. It makes a world of difference. So thank you for showing up. Now,
Thank you, Councilwoman. We are adjourned. I did a lot of things.